Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, we could really use your help. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named the Two Opinionated podcast one of its top 100 podcasts. This is a monumental feat for this program. You know, we're a father and son team out of a small town in West Virginia, have been doing this for about 5 years. There's 15 million podcasts out there. About 40,000 of those get to the point that they're listed on IMDb. Out of those 40,000 out of the 15 million, we are ranked number 82. Something that we're just immensely proud of. We're so thankful for our listeners, our watchers, our fans. Thank you so, so much. If you would like to help us out, and we're asking for it, please. It's easy. It's really easy. It's free. If you go to IMDb, that's imdb.com, look up Two Opinionated Podcast, and just take a look at the page. That's all you have to do. I mean, you're welcome to look at the cast, look at the episodes so you can kind of see who's been on the program. Do whatever you want. But even just bringing up the page, imdb.com, Two Opinionated Podcast, bring up the page, look at it. That helps us so much. So please, if you can do anything, we would really appreciate that. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Love to have your subscription there. It's also free. And you can also check out our website, meistercon.com, where you'll find almost 700 episodes, audio and video, available on there. There's also a terrific blog from Brett, and it'll let you know anything that we have going on in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going on location, anything that we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so, so much. We appreciate you so much. I can't express enough how appreciative we are of all of you. We never expected to do as well as we have, and that's all because of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy that interview. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another introduction. Let's try again. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another I did it again. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got actress Jillian Dion with me. So welcome, Jillian.
Thank you.
Took me 3 times to get through a simple introduction. That's the quality of podcast you're joining.
I'm ready. I'm here for it.
You know, it's we've had the flu running through the family the last couple of weeks. And I have my bout of it that I'm past, but I'm still a little foggy from it. I haven't quite like 100% mentally recovered yet.
Yep. I mean, I think we've all kind of been dealing with that because we're like not used to getting sick anymore. So when we get sick, it's like it hits you like a hurricane. Like
I always laugh because like I get the tiniest thing wrong with me, and I'm a big baby. I admit it. I can't deal with anything wrong with me. My wife, she gets like something major wrong, doesn't slow her down.
yeah.
Maybe it takes her an extra 2 or 3 minutes, but she's fine. She's so much tougher than me. So I always tell her, I was like, if you're going to get sick, you got to make sure I'm all the way better, or I'm not going to be able to take care of you.
Oh my gosh. Well, higher pain threshold, we have it. Like so.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. So Jillian, let's start this way. Tell me a little bit about what got you into acting. What made you want to be an actress?
It was a small article cutout. It was like it didn't have like giant aspirations of like, I watched movies growing up and I was a fan of them.
Yeah.
I had like favorite actors and actresses and favorite films, but I never once was like, I want to do that. For the longest time, I actually thought films were filmed sequentially and like not all the scenes were like filmed at different times. Like that was like my knowledge of film and cinema.
I used to think that too. I didn't realize,
right?
A lot of times, like they'll film one person's scenes all in one day, but those scenes might be over throughout the movie.
Exactly. And like the thing with that too is just shows you like the range and how prepared you have to be as an actor, because you can go from like, like really happy, just like whatever, crazy happy, and then you could be like mourning the loss of, your pet dog in the
Right.
movie. So it's quite crazy to think about. But yeah, I it was a newspaper clipping. I was in Albuquerque for the Gathering of Nations, which is the world's largest powwow.
Yeah.
Um, we took the RV down from Alberta, where I'm originally from, down to Albuquerque, drove through the
Do they
states.
always have it in the same location, or does it move around a little bit?
Mm-mm. No, it's
Always
always
there.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, newspaper clipping. My father was reading the local newspaper, and there was just a call out for an Indigenous girl, 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
And that was the age range I was in. I had been sitting in this RV with my dad and his wife, my stepmother at the time, for 5 days. So I was like aching to get out of this RV,
I
wanting to
bet.
do something like anything different. As like a 17-year-old girl, you're just like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Um, but yeah, I just went to this call out and met the casting director, and her name was Renee Haynes. And it just so happened that I'd met her 10 years prior, in Edmonton, Alberta, and she'd given me a business card, and I held on to that business card because I was from Edmonton, Alberta, and it was a business card from someone in LA. And I was like, this is the coolest piece of paper I've
That's
ever
pretty
had,
cool.
Yeah, and like like 9-year-old me was like in awe of this piece of paper, so I like had it and would show people, and I was like, I got this LA number. Just silly little things. And then
That's
I
kind
went
of
to the
meant to be,
audition.
though, that you ran back into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was it. That was the whole. That's like it's mind-boggling now, because that audition got me sort of into acting. She subsequently got me an agent back in Edmonton, and then she is the one that cast me in Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's
Yeah.
it's wild.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what was the role back
The
then?
original?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it was for the New World, if you recall. It was Colin Farrell and
Oh, I saw that movie. Yeah, of course.
yep. And yeah, and it was directed by Terrence Malick. So my first audition ever for a director was for Terrence Malick.
It's not
Uh,
terrible. No pressure.
yeah, so it was crazy. And then after that I went on to work with Steven Spielberg and now Martin Scorsese.
I know that's pretty crazy. That the directors you've worked with is pretty impressive. So was Stephen, was that Into the West?
Yep.
Yeah, that was such a good film. Like I went back the other day just to look at the cast. It's loaded.
Oh yeah, it's stacked. It was stacked. I was sitting in the back of a van. I was there by myself. I was 18. It's the first time I'd ever been on set, and I was sitting in the back of the van because I chose to sit at the very back, away from the driver for whatever reason. And someone gets in, and he like turns around and he's like, "Oh hey, I'm Josh," and he like shakes my hand, and I was like, "Oh cool, yeah, yeah, yeah." And like now in hindsight, like years later, I was like, "Oh, that was Josh Brolin."
Yeah, yeah, that's
I had
Thanos.
no idea. Yeah, I had no idea. I was like, what a nice man.
Well, he's been acting since he was a kid too.
Mm,
He's done that for a long time, and he just seems like a good guy.
hmm He was nice. He didn't have to turn around and shake my hand. I'm just like some little, what probably would have looked like an extra sitting in the back, you know?
Yeah, no,
It was
that's
nice.
awesome. I mean, what a
hmm
great movie too. It was a mini series. It was a mini series.
Yep. Yep.
It was really well done. They're starting to come back a little bit, but I miss the westerns.
Yeah, they're doing them justice now. And there's still the, indigenous and cowboy kind of, storylines, but they're modernized and they're not so old Hollywood,
Yeah.
or just so stereotypical old Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Well, you get both sides now, where
Mm,
before you didn't get that or very little.
exactly.
So now at
Exactly.
least you kind of understand the motivations for everybody, no matter what it is, and you kind of figure out pretty quick everybody's got decent, reasons for what they're trying to do, but that doesn't make it right.
No, absolutely.
It was a
Oh.
difficult time.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's great. And we loved you on Legion when you were on there.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that was fun. I got to play Amber Midthunder's mom for an
Awesome.
episode, and it was really cool. It was I got to get dressed up in like 1950s garb, and that was like one of my favorite eras at that time. So I was wearing like pin curls in my hair and just like a cool blue shirt, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. Yeah, that was a really, really fun project and like such a large scale to see things done
Yeah.
on, like just the magnitude of which it was. And you're like, okay, yeah, so this is Marvel.
Yeah, it's a trippy show, which
Hmm.
you would expect. I mean, you got a guy that's psychic, has mental powers. So, I mean, you would expect it to be kind of trippy, but it was really trippy.
Oh my gosh, it was wild. What's her name? She transforms into a giant worm throughout the whole thing, and it's so strange. Oh,
I mean, that
Aubrey
wasn't,
Plaza.
yeah,
Aubrey
I was going to
Plaza.
say that was her
Hmm.
role. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. And she does such a good job in that role, too. I mean, because she
Oh my
plays
gosh.
Strange really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just the whole casting of that was amazing. Um, yeah, and just seeing the progression of Amber Midthunder's character too, because she plays a twin, but like not a twin at all. It's strange,
Yeah,
but
yeah. It's well
it's
done.
cool
And,
though.
and like I'm a comic book guy, so I read all the stories it's based on.
Ah,
And like they're telling it in a different way, but it does justice to the source material, which is really all you want. If you're a fan of
mm,
the book or the comic, whatever it is, you just want to make sure that it does justice, not necessarily that it's exactly the same.
yeah, absolutely. Like you kind of want a little bit of something interesting and new if you are such a diehard
Yeah,
fan, and you're like, maybe there's a little twist that I didn't think about, you
that's
know?
right. Yeah, I always enjoy it when they adapt stuff and change it a little bit. Now you can go too far,
Yeah.
sometimes, but most of the time, if you have a large franchise like that, whoever's making the movie or the TV show, they try to do kind of fan service to the source material because if they
Hmm.
don't, they're going to get destroyed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like ruthless. Like just when people are talking about movies that are coming up now and just like looking in the comment section, just like ruthless.
Yeah,
And I understand. I understand if you like come to expect a certain level of authenticity, then you do want to see that in something that you're like became a fan of initially. Makes sense.
I loved Killers of the Flower Moon. I didn't realize it was like kind of a sneaky uh, FBI origin story. I didn't realize that until I
Hmm.
watched the movie. It's so well done. Like you don't like it's so well done. You don't even feel like you're watching a movie. You feel like you're actually living in the town that the movie's happening in. You just feel like you're right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a large part in just the way that David Gran wrote the book and how Eric Roth translated that to a film script, and just how Rodrigo saw the cinematography being done and how Marty wanted to tell the story is just like a perfect storm. And it transports you to that moment, let alone being in the film, me watching it after, I was just immediately transported back because the quality was so perfect. Everything was like perfect almost. The story itself is harrowing and it's terrible and it's factual and it's a true story.
Yeah.
So I think just having a level of perfection and a level of respect really translates. And I think that's what a large part of the audience is seeing. And it feels so visceral when, things are happening to these women, because even if you've only gotten to know them for a little bit, the bond is still there.
Yeah.
And I think it lives on through their spirit and kind of carried on through us in this story. So I think there's a lot of that happening, and people don't realize it's based on a true story. Like,
Yeah, I didn't realize it till we started watching, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, okay." And they kind of hint at the Tulsa riot
right,
they had
race,
around
yep.
that time period, and at that that I thought it was really interesting because of that, because there was so much going on during the early 20s and stuff. But
Hmm.
that's a story that I hadn't heard. before. So
Yep.
yeah, it was really, really well done. What's Marty like on set?
He's amazing. He's such a kind man.
Yeah.
When I initially got there, I was a little bit shell shocked. I think I definitely took the fake it till you make it and just really rode with that in my audition. I was like, I'm chatty. I'm like super confident. Like you want me on your set. But I was like terrified. I like got there and I was
Course.
like quiet and like cat got my tongue like throughout the whole thing. He kept on trying to come over and like make me more comfortable. But I'm like an ambivert, so it took a while, but once I got to get comfortable with everyone and on set, it's really easy just to be comfortable with Marty because he's like floating around the set just with purpose, and everything he says and does has such a direction and it has
Yeah.
such there's a meaning behind everything he says, even if it's like funny or it's like, pertaining to the scene. Just everything about the situation is just so calming and so lived in. He can get an actor, in my experience, to do what he would like just in a matter of takes and with a few words.
Yeah.
He really just conveys that from him somehow. It's just, I guess, years and years and years of practice, but like he trusts his actors, um, which is a huge part of it. And we have a job to do, and he's responsible to making sure that we do it to the best of our ability.
Yeah.
Just kind of, yeah, conducting.
Yeah, I always admired the way he was able to keep the entire picture in his head. So yeah, everybody's got their
Yes.
part, and he's kind of running around, doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But in his head, it all makes sense. It's all planned out, and kind of he can see all of it, and that's so hard to do. Just
Mm-hmm.
mastering one piece of it's hard enough, and he's got to oversee all of it. I always kind of admired that. And with other directors too, but I think his movies are so big and they're so sprawling, and it's just, I don't know, it just it kind of takes it to another level for me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. He has such a like it's all the moving parts within it. Like Adam, the first AD, was amazing as well. He had like this big booming voice, so if Marty needed something conveyed, then Adam could like shout it 10 times louder.
I wonder if
In like
does he use the same team for most projects?
I believe so. Yeah, he used Rodrigo, I believe, for the Irishman, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He's used Thelma Shoemaker for everything, like master editor.
Yeah.
He's worked with obviously like Bob numerous times and Leo now numerous times. Um, yeah, it seems that way, and it's really cool. I really like that he's kept a female editor for this whole time. It's just so
I think
telling of what kind of man he is,
yeah,
you know?
that's an excellent point. Yeah, it really does. And I love how he casts what seems like most of the cast, you would not be surprised to find them in a small town at that time period. If you're going
Mm-hmm.
through it, just you'd see it's just regular people is what it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
It seems so natural. The people, even the way he kind of fixed up Leonardo and Robert, they look like they belonged in that time period. It's pretty amazing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
it
it
was
fun as an actress to get to, because you've got a few period pieces now. Is that fun to get to dress up in that time period?
it is. It's funny. I had this like little manifesto when I graduated film school and I like had like things that I wanted to keep doing, and one of them was like I want to do time period pieces, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, I made my quota. I'd like to do something else now. But yeah, it's really cool like getting to dress up like the 50s mom and Legion, and now with this time period with the 30s, just like the cool
Yeah.
hats and like the really beautiful jewelry. And
It was very
there was
colorful.
another. Yes, that was the thing. Yeah, it was colorful. It was such a juxtaposition to what the story was about, which I think was trying to like really play on that as well a little bit. Um, yeah, I like period pieces. I really do. I think there's something to them. Just a lot. I love history, I think too.
Yeah,
So
same. Yeah, it's always it's great when you can be entertained and learn a little bit too.
I agree. I agree. I'm like such a fan of documentaries for that reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I am too. I am too. Because it's amazing. Even the stuff even the history you're pretty confident knowing, if you hear it enough, you'll find new things there. And you
Hmm.
can't retain all of it anyway. But you
You know
gotta
what? It's funny. I think you might find that you do this too, where you're just like, random pieces of information and people around you are like, how did you know that? And you're
yeah,
like,
that's
probably a
how it comes
documentary.
out.
Hmm.
I've always said that. I'm like, what am I going to do with all this useless knowledge in my head? And then podcasting came around. I was like, oh,
Perfect. You're like, this or Jeopardy? What should I do?
yeah, that's it. That's it. I was like, I get too nervous. I'll choke at Jeopardy podcasting.
I love it.
Is there a genre that you would like to do that you haven't got to do?
I want to do fantasy. Like if I could go back and like
Ooh.
steal anyone's role, it would be Jennifer Connelly in The Labyrinth.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's a. Mm, I love it. Are you a Bowie fan?
A little bit, like not crazy, but I do appreciate his music and appreciate who he is. And I believe he's also an Aquarius, so I stand with that.
I believe that is right. Yeah. No, I actually love that one. They keep talking about doing a sequel or a remake, and I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. Like those characters were just of that movie. Like they belong to that movie. And like her portrayal in that is amazing. And
She's really
yeah,
good in that, and pretty young.
really good. Yep. Yep. Super young. And just like the way what they have her dressed in through the whole thing it's amazing. And just like all the who made were they Henson Muppets?
Yeah, yeah, they were handsome
Yeah.
Muppets. Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah.
they did
Like
that one, and Dark Crystal was around that time too.
mm, hmm.
Similar type of, I guess, puppetry or whatever they muppetry.
Yeah. So I guess fantasy, but I'm not sure if it'd be that. I
There's a
want it to be
lot of
like that
fantasy out there
specific.
right now.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm putting in the universe.
Are you athletic? Like, could you portray a badass on screen?
I could definitely try. I keep getting auditions for soldier and for like
Yeah,
leader and like um I see myself just kind of soft, so it'd really have to like I'd have to like really mentally prepare to get there. But I mean, I'd be down for a challenge.
yeah. How about comedy?
Comedy's interesting. I think I have a pretty dry sense of humor, so it'd be a specific type of comedy that I'd be interested in.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Like, are you talking like an Arrested Development type of comedy, that type of dry humor, or
yes,
yeah,
that would be amazing.
yeah,
Like
it
that would
does.
be so, or something really specific, like Shorzy.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah, there's something like that. Like not run of the mill, rom-com comedy stuff. I want like something I think a little bit of edge and like something a little bit like it's takes a little bit of brain power.
yeah. That's the type of comedy I enjoy too. Those you have to think about just a little bit sometimes. Yeah,
Yes, yeah. And then like 5 minutes later, you're like laughing and you're like, oh, I get it.
yeah. Now I get it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah, that's not bad. What you played you got to be a squad leader on Motherland,
Hmm.
so you
Yes.
had you got a
So
little taste of it.
well, that was the pilot. Was that the pilot? Because I was on twice.
Yeah, you
That
were in
was
a couple episodes, I think.
yeah, the first one. Yeah, the first one was squad leader. And that was fun in itself. But what they had done is they cast me and then they got about 12 other girls and they wanted us to all walk in unison. And if you're not trained to do that,
Right.
it's and they were doing like an aerial shot. So if one person stepped out, you could see immediately. So that in itself, it was just like take after take of like marching. And subsequently that scene got cut because they couldn't get 12 people that weren't trained to march
Yeah.
together
Yeah, they've been better off actually going to getting 12 soldiers and just hiring
Exactly.
them for the role. The
Exactly. Yes. But Yeah, so that I just recently had an audition that I can't speak about
Ooh,
because I signed an NDA, but it's for a woman in the army, like a captain in the army.
that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, so fingers crossed for that one. Yeah,
I think you could do it. I can see it. And like a
thank
show
you.
like something like a Wheel of Time, could totally see you on there. Something where it's like you've got a group of kind of badass women on the
Oh
show.
yeah,
You'd be good at
yeah,
that. You'd be good at that.
thanks.
I think you could do it. I'm putting it out there.
Yeah, thank you.
But then when I see you in a Marvel movie or on some fantasy show, I was like, I knew it.
Yes. Yes, perfect. We'll just like manifest that. Like now the universe has it and it'll take it and run with it. And
Yes. Sometimes it works that way.
no, it does. Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in that. Like if you want something, the universe provides, just like do your bit and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not terrible. We saw you on Alaska Daily.
Oh yeah. Yeah, right. That was a fun one. That was we had a basketball scene, and in the audition process, like the audition I loved, and they're like, "Oh, wait, one more thing. Do you play basketball?" And I was like, "Yeah." Um I played basketball in high school. I played
Oh,
basketball 20 years ago. So I was like, I got this. It's fine.
okay.
And I got there on set and they brought in like an actual basketball team. It's an indigenous basketball team here.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's yeah, all my relations. And they are actual, like they're competitive basketball players. So Grace and I we got to do some like plays and went in for the layup and just like took some 3-pointer shots. But I realized very quickly that I didn't remember if I dribbled with my left or my right hand. So I kept on like trying to like switch them, and I was dribbling up here. You should be dribbling down here.
Well, you're
So it took a
rusty.
little while. I was rusty. I was so rusty, but they made it look good. They made it work. The professional basketball players made us look good. So that was nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was cool too, because that was another time when I was surrounded by Indigenous actors with Grace Dove, and the All My Relations team is Indigenous. And it just felt really cool. And it's aside from Killers of the Flower Moon, one of the only times, and Into the West, where I was surrounded by other Indigenous talent. It was just really heartwarming.
Yeah, it's awesome that we're getting more and more vehicles for
Mm-hmm.
these people. I love that. And not always, sometimes they're just in the movie. It doesn't have anything to do necessarily about, where they came from. They're just an actor
Yep.
in the movie. And I love it when
Wow,
that
imagine that. What a time.
I know you think we'd have got to that point a little quicker, and we're still not 100% there. We're getting better.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
yeah, we got a ways to go yet. I thought Alaska Daily was a good show. It surprised me it didn't get picked up for another season.
I agree. I definitely agree. Like Hilary Swank was amazing in it, and the storyline was cool and accurate. And
She does a good
I don't
job,
know.
I think, picking shows, but a lot of times it they don't give them enough time to develop an audience, so they get
Mhm.
into it a little too soon because she's terrific.
Yep, yep. She's phenomenal and everything. Million Dollar Baby is one of my favorite
Oh my
movies.
gosh. It's probably one of the best movies ever.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh
it's
my
really
God.
good.
Tearjerker. Amazing, amazing performance.
Yeah. Who was her trainer?
Uh,
It's
Morgan
Clint
Freeman
Eastwood,
was
wasn't it?
one, and Clint Eastwood. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a good movie. And it's been a while since that was out.
Hmm.
It feels like
Yeah,
she just made that. It's been, I don't know, 15 years, something like that.
absolutely. I think I'm more partial to movies of that era. I'm just not sure if that's when I really took an interest in them, but I find they were better. Like there was, I don't know.
It's the dialogue. The dialogue was better. I,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, more poetic.
just the right. We went into that kind of period where everything bigger was better and it was all about special effects and the
Right,
green
not the story.
screen. Yeah. And we lost some of the story. And I think we're kind of getting back to that now where, especially with COVID and everybody had to rethink budgets and all that stuff and
Right.
with the strikes and we're, but the positive that's coming out of it is we're getting pretty good stories.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I've always been about the dialogue. I think growing up, my mother and I used to love to watch old movies together, and dialogue was just always so good because they didn't have any, real way to do special effects. You had to use your imagination for that stuff. Loved
Totally.
it. Loved it. And so I'm not unhappy that we're starting to see some of that with the writings.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, put it back on the actors. Let them do what they do.
Yeah, honestly, like I love a good monologue, and like they were of substance back then. Like you
Yeah.
look at monologues and they were moving, and it was such a treat in film school getting to look up a monologue from a movie that I liked of that time because they were so phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean it was good. It was good. My oldest said to mention When Calls the Heart. He liked
Yep.
you in that.
Yeah, that was such a cool it was a cool experience. Another period piece.
Yeah.
That was the other one I was trying to think of. So thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
It was cool. I think that's the first time. Yeah, that's the first time I had kids in a film. Because when I did my role with Amber, we shot separately for Legion, but that's the first time I had to wrangle some little kids and play mom. I don't have kids, so it was like just picturing my little niece and nephew, but like, it was fun. It was really cool. And
That's
Peter
awesome.
DeLuce, I believe, was the director in that one, which was really cool. He was in 21 Jump Street like way back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah. So he was the director of that, which was really fun. And yeah, a phenomenal set. It was out in Langley, so it was like a hour-long drive for me, which was not too bad.
No, that's
Got my
not
little
bad.
car, drove there. Yeah, it was good.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
really
was fun.
cool. Did you do it through school? Were you in theater, and did you do that during school? No,
No, no,
you
I
were
didn't do
already
anything.
acting.
Yeah, I was like not really in school. The only like extracurriculars I participated in were basketball, and that was it. Yeah, basketball.
And we've heard how that turned out.
It was good. I was good. I think I'm just rusty, but I can still beat my boyfriend at a game of horse. So
Oh, there you
still
go.
feeling pretty good. Yeah,
You still
yeah.
shoot.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna show him this video now when I say that.
I used to I used to play in a Y league, back when I was in my 30s, and I figured out pretty quick I could not do anything that I was able to do in my teens, except shoot. I could still shoot pretty well, but it took me a
Mhm.
lot longer to get set. So
Oh yeah. Yep.
I was the guy who was kind of jogging, down on defense, and then on offense, I just find my spot and set up. And a few times a game, they'd leave me open, and then I could shoot. That was
Ah, that was me
that was
too.
my contribution to the Y team.
Me too. I played defense, and I was just like, yeah, I could just like stand and like go to do a big or do like a really good pick, and that was it.
Yeah, yeah. I figured that out. There's like if you're in your 30s and you're playing with a bunch of teenagers or early 20s, they're in a lot better
Hmm.
shape than you are.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's unreal. It's unreal. We just had my boyfriend's nephew here, and he's just competing at this wrestling thing, and he was like jogging to and from the venue at like 7 a.m. And I was like, I would if I had to jog to where I had to be physical again,
Yeah,
wouldn't be pretty. Like not
no,
great.
not great. I know. I know. And I finally stopped. Around when I turned 40, I stopped because I was like, I'm just going to get hurt.
Yes, that is a worry. Oh my gosh. That
Because
reminds me of
you get
when
hurt in your 30s, it takes so long to recover.
well, no, that's it completely. I was on my way to Cannes, and the day before I left, I was riding my bike, and I don't ride my bike ever. Um, I was just trying to get back into it, and I took a turn, and the bike fell. I fell with the bike, and I fell into a berry bush. So I got scrapes all over my arm and had to go to Cannes
Oh my
with a
gosh.
bruise and scrapes everywhere. And I was like, okay, this is it. And now my publicist is like, do not do anything before these events, because she's like, you inevitably always fall or you like injure yourself somehow right before the events. And it's
Yeah, and then
so
you
true.
can't hide it.
No, no. Well, I had to like, oh God, there's way too many to mention. Like bruises, tape ripping off a piece of my skin because I was like not careful because I'm not used to wearing body tape. Just wait, I'm a klutz. I'm an absolute klutz.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That's funny.
It is. It's kind of like you're like, what will I do next?
Yeah. Well, Jillian, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time. I think you're such a good actress. I can't wait to see what the new one is.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I hear it might be an action thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. Also, I'm not sure if anyone's ever told you this, but the two little A's above your head look like little devil horns.
Oh, I love that. I can totally see that now that you say it. No, you're the first.
Well, thanks for having me. I really
That's
appreciate
so funny.
it.
Now I'll be distracted by that. I'll be like, You're so welcome. You have to come back. When you're able to talk about the next one, come back and tell us about it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd love to.
I mean, you're running out of like the top-notch directors to work with, so you might have stepped down a level.
We'll see. We'll see.
There's some good ones on that level.
Yes, absolutely. I'm open to whatever the universe bestows upon me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Jillian, best of luck because I think you're so talented. Loved you in Killers of the Flower Moon. That was awesome. And part of the reason I loved your character so much was the outfits she wore. Those were good.
Thank you. Outfits. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were really, really cool, and they were like properly done by the Osage community. So that was really amazing. And Jackie West, obviously, amazing.
Yeah, I've always heard good things about Jackie West. That's awesome. Yeah, that's
Thank you.
Cool. Well, Jillian, definitely open invitation. Anytime you want to come back, just reach out. We'll get you back on.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Oh, a couple quick things before we go.
Yeah.
Anything else that you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
There was a movie filmed a couple months ago. The working title is Viper, but I'm not sure if that's what it's actually going to be called. Yeah, and it's Nathaniel Arcand, myself, a couple other actors in there, and Mark Fermi directed it. So yeah, we're just hoping to
Another
see
very
when
good director.
Yeah. So we're just hoping to see when that's gonna make its way, editing and all that fun stuff. So that was the last thing, and now just waiting, crossing my fingers for the other project to come through.
I'll cross mine too.
Thank you.
Okay, so last thing before you go, where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, sure. My Instagram is _Jillian Dion, Dion, like the singer, and I'm
very impressed that you know Dion the singer, because that's but that was like he was like a 50s guy. You know, I always enjoyed his music. He was one of my mom's favorite.
Oh, my mom's favorite was Fats Domino.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I listened to a lot of Fats Domino growing up.
Yep. Also good. Blueberry, was it Blueberry Hill or Strawberry
Blueberry Hill?
Right. Fruit Hill, some sort of fruit on a hill. Yeah, so that's my Insta, and then my TikTok, which is less used, mainly Insta, but my TikTok is same name, Jillian Dion.
Yeah. Are you dancing on TikTok?
No, I don't. I'm not coordinated for dance.
Oh, me neither. But there's some talented people on there.
Oh yeah, no, it's wild. Like seeing the people that can learn these dances in like seemingly hours, and they're like full dances for like the Beyonce one that just came out, and everyone's like doing the dance, and I was like, how did you learn that in 3 hours?
You could give me 3 years, I couldn't learn it.
Oh yeah, me too. Like, I mean, if I had to, I would, but it would take a while.
Yeah, TikTok's intimidating, but same. I got an account on there. I'll put videos from clips up and stuff, but I'm afraid to try any of the trendy videos. I don't have the confidence for that.
I'm just there for the recipes and the cat content. So
yes, there is some good cat content on there.
Yes, absolutely. There's ridiculous amounts of cute cats out there, and like you grow to think that these are your pets. So like when one of them passes or something, you're like traumatized because it was your favorite internet cat.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I've seen people get really upset, and I'm like, you've never actually met that cat.
But I know him so well.
All right, Jillian, hold on one second. That was Jillian Dion. Hope you enjoyed that. She's such a good actress. If you haven't seen Killers of the Flower Moon, what are you doing? She's absolutely terrific as Minnie in it. Loved her in that. I think we hit most of the ones I wanted to. Into the West, Legion, Wind Calls the Heart, Alaska Daily, and Motherland, Fort Salem. Yeah, she's terrific. Really, really talented. Do yourself a favor, kind of bookmark her IMDb page. Keep an eye on her. I think we're going to hear a lot more from her. If you're finding us for the first time, thank you. So glad you're here. Love to have your support. It's easy to do. It's free. If you're a watcher, our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. Really helps us out. If you're a listener, wherever you listen to your podcast from, just subscribe there. That'll help us as well. Our website is meistercon.com. You'll find right now 737 and counting interviews, shows, podcasts, whatever. And you can find the audio and the video recordings on there. It'll let you know if we're doing anything in studio, if we're going on location, covering a convention, anything we have going on. Be on the website, meistercon.com. You can also go to imdb.com and check out our top 100 rated podcast. Just look up To Opinionated, and our page will come right up. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm once again here to ask for your support. It's been a big year for the To Opinionated podcast. Back in February, we got to live out a dream, moderate for William Shatner here in our hometown. In May, we passed 100,000 downloads on our YouTube channel, and we followed that up in June with 50,000 downloads on the audio side. We recently posted our 600th episode, which is pretty good volume for just a father and son operation. You know, not too many podcasts can keep that volume up. We've been doing this now for 4.5 years. 600 plus episodes. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a really big deal for us because we've always gotten the views, but have struggled to get people to subscribe. So that 1,000 was a big deal for us. And best of all, we were recently named one of the top podcasts on IMDb, which is the entertainment database. You know, those that are ahead of us, we came in at number 82. Those that are ahead of us are bigger companies like Disney, mostly Marvel, and Joe Rogan, that type of podcast. So for us, being just a small West Virginia father and son podcast, to be in the top 100 out of 15 million, it's a pretty big deal for us. So thank you for everything you've done for us so far. Got a couple little ways, though, that you can help us, and they're free, and they're really easy. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, please go to YouTube. It's under MeisterCon Pod. Just hit subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Really helps us a ton. And maybe even more important, if you could go to imdb.com, look up the To Opinionated podcast, and just look around the page. Just having that traffic on the page really helps us out. So that's a couple easy ways that you can support us, even if you're not listening or watching all of the time. And we want you to listen and watch, because I think that our guest list, I would put up against anybody, any other show, podcast, anybody out there. I think our guest list holds up. So please check us out. You probably will find somebody that you like, or maybe somebody that you didn't know you liked, but kind of discovered them on there. There's tons of that. If you're into music, we have that too. If you like books, we've got authors on there. If you're more into what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world, you know, we've got producers, directors, video artists, anything you can think of that happens behind the scenes, we've had them on the show. So definitely check us out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.